Welcome to the Network Youth Church Carlisle and their YouTube channel. This summer we're thinking about hope. If you haven't already done so, please check out some of the other videos on the channel. This is a place called Sycamore Gap. It's in Northumberland, and what you see there is a big sycamore tree. Sycamore Gap is beside Hadrian's Wall, and Hadrian's Wall was built, if you don't know, about 1900 years ago at the northern frontier of the Roman Empire. It was built and started by a guy called Hadrian, who was the emperor at the time after he'd visited the northern frontier. The sycamore tree there isn't that old, it's maybe only about 300 years old. But why am I talking about an ancient wall and a not quite as ancient but still really old tree when I should be talking about hope? Well, we find hope in all sorts of places, don't we? And that's what this summer's videos are all about: hope in nature, hope in friends. But we also, I think, find hope in history. What is hope? Well, it is a desire or expectation that something will happen or change. For me, looking back can give hope. Looking back to how things were can give hope that things can change and that things will change. They don't always change as quickly as we want, or sometimes in the way we want, but things do change. So when we look back in history, we see that people do amazing things for good. The last few months we've said how amazing all the nurses have been through this COVID-19 crisis, and looking back tells me that someone called Florence Nightingale started the modern nursing movement that has made such a difference in our lives today. Maybe that's why the emergency hospitals we had were called Nightingale hospitals. Black Lives Matter too has been at the forefront of a lot of our minds recently, and rightly so. And looking back tells me that there was a man called Martin Luther King who was really important and really influential and really started the civil rights movement in America, which influenced there and beyond. Even though there's lots of work to do, he started that. Looking back tells me about a man called Nelson Mandela who fought apartheid in South Africa and eventually became South African president. Sometimes when we look back, we only see bad things. And it's right that we don't pretend everything was fabulous back then and it's terrible now. All the other way around, everything was bad then and it's really fab now. But looking back brings hope because it shows us that people want to make a difference. And it shows us there was people who fighted injustice and fighted oppression. And it gives me hope that today and in the future we will have more people who will lead this kind of thing, whatever the situation is. Who knows, this might even be you. You just don't know it yet. If we go back to Sycamore Gap and Hadrian's Wall, what do you see? Well, you don't see the wall anymore. The barrier that was built to keep people apart has came down. It's been taken down. And the tree shows us that kind of new life has sprung up in its place. Maybe you have a desire or an expectation that something will change. Something has to change. As I said, perhaps you're the one to do that, and perhaps that's something to think about today. And for me as a Christian, my hope is grounded in the past too. I look back to a man called Jesus of Nazareth who walked on the earth about 2,000 years ago, even before Hadrian's Wall was built. And my hope is anchored in him. Why is that? Because in the past he promised that after he'd been killed he would come to life again. And he did. That means I can trust in his promises. That means I can trust in the promise that he's alive now and making things good. And I can trust in his promise that at some future point he'll come back and he'll make things good and he'll make things better and he'll make things perfect. That gives me hope. What gives you hope? Have a think about that. Let us know at the Network Youth Church Instagram account. I'm sure it'll be down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't give up hope. See you soon.